said there are three main types of adaptation. What are what? Structural adaptation, behavioral adaptation, and adaptive coloration. I want to believe we have actually looked at adaptive coloration. And we started with adaptive behavior. The attitudes and behavior that certain most organisms adapt in order to survive in their environment. When we looked at structural, we saw structural adaptation, that's the features that they have, more especially to help them to obtain their food. Again, remind me, for obtaining food and what else? Securing mates and what else? There are two other, conservation and what else? Remains one. Protection and defense. Don't chew or eat in my class. Predators are also to get to their prey. Then we came across, after which we now enter the behavioral adaptation. That is different attitudes that most organisms, both plants and animals, adapt in order to, one, also escape and communicate, even for mating, different actions they contain. Some of them in order to withstand climatic conditions within the environment or the habitat where they are. And we came across some words like hibernation. What do we tell ourselves is hibernation? What's hibernation? We're trying to do a recall. What is hibernation? What is hibernation, my dear?
Behavioral adaptation in which animals like bats spend cold weather.
Okay, in order to withstand the cold weather. Example? Bats. What is activation? We came across the word activation. I don't want to start pointing. I expected that at least must have done revision and activation or estivation, like Toby Lover said. What is estivation? Yes.
Estivation is the behavioral process where animals spend their warm weather in inactive condition.
I'm sure it's one?
Yes.
Okay. Spend their hot weather in a sleep-like condition. Example. Remind me your name. Huh? Just to Femi. Just to be loving. Just to be loving. Just to Femi. Okay?
Long fish.
African longfish. Another example. New one.
Speak like that.
Okay? Now, what is mimicry? Memory on what we treated last time. What is mimicry? What is mimicry? What is mimicry? Tallest, remember your name? Dominion. Okay.
Adaptive feature in which an harmless organism resembles a dangerous one. Mimicry is an adaptive process or feature in which an harmless organism resembles a dangerous one.
Okay. A harmless organism resembles a harmful or strong one so as to, one, escape the predators, and two, to get to their prey. God bless you. So that will lead us, these are different behaviors adapted by different organisms. One way, either to escape predators or to escape some climatic condition, hot or warm weather. Shedding of leaves. If you're jotting down, let's go. Some plants shed their leaves during the dry season, like you can see now. Some plants shed off their leaves during dry season in order to reduce water loss. Some plants shed their leaves during the dry season in order to reduce water loss. For a long time now, this is the dry season in Nigeria. We have, how many seasons do we have in Nigeria? 2 major seasons, wet and dry season. But this is actually the real dry one. You can see most of the leaves, even the young ones, that are not able to get, their roots are not too deep in order to absorb water. They have shallow roots that cannot go deep. Most of them dies off, or they remain dormant, waiting for when the condition will become favorable. So most plants during dry season shed off their leaves. One, to be able to survive. How do they do that? They shed most of their leaves so that to reduce water loss. Why should they shed the leaves? What do you think? I have mentioned to reduce water loss. How? Huh? Say something now, you're talking. I've already mentioned some of them shed leaves in order to reduce water loss. How? If you have a younger one that want to explain, what will you say? Transpiration, to reduce transpiration. And we know that most time plants manufacture their food by receiving carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and they absorb water by the roots. And this water needs to move via the xylem to the leaves for photosynthesis to take place. So in order to avoid that, retain and remember, being carried by the xylem, and they will shed off their leaves, you think they are dead. Immediately you have the first fall of rain, you see the leaves coming up again. Another thing is dormancy. 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 This is a period of minimal metabolic activities. This is a period of minimal metabolic activity. Minimal metabolic activities of organisms in order to survive an adverse condition. Minimal metabolism of organisms or some plants in order to survive adverse condition of cold or droughts, cold in plants. Example is the seeds of plants. If I want to cultivate maize now, you know I can still go to the market and buy maize that we can buy and use in making ogi. At that stage when you see that maize there, if it has not been attacked by pests, that maize that you see there is at its dormant stage. The same thing with the granules. The same thing with the seeds of different plants you might get outside. They are at their dormant stage. So by the time you put it in a fertile ground, where everything you need for germination to take place is, it will just burst. It will crack or split, and the new endoderms will start coming up with the new seedlings. So at the stage where they are just like that, they are at their dormant stage or in dormancy. That will help them to preserve or to keep themselves so as to withstand drought or cold weather or resist pests, getting ready for the time they will pick. So with time you see them there, they are their dormant stage. Now look outside. You can see some of this grass looks dusty, look dead. Why? Everything about them is still living, but they are their dormant stage because the conditions that they are facing now is not conducive for it to sprout or for it to grow. Is that clear? So it's of vegetables. Death of vegetable plants. Let me see, vegetable plants. Some plants die down and survive. Some plants die down and survive the dry season as underground stem. Some plants die down and survive the dry season as underground stem. Underground stem. Example of such is yam, sweet potato. Most of the vegetative propagating organs, you remember them? Vegetative propagating organs. Example, I've mentioned yam, that's of yam tuber. Another one, rhizome, another one, onion bulb, another one, ginger, and so on. So at a stage like this, they became dormant, or they appear as if they are dead or dry. And they will remain like that. By the time there is rain and you put them inside the ground, every part of it can sprout. If the ground is fertile enough to allow it or have all the conditions that it needs for it to germinate, and there is water. So that's what we call death of vegetable plants. And this is the period, if you want to buy some of those yams, you can see how hard they are. Some people might decide to peel it and soak it in water. Why do you need to soak it in water for some time? Who knows? Kitchen business. So that it can absorb water and get softened. And so when you're cooking it, it will get done fast, and you'll not waste gas or charcoal most time. So most of the time you allow it, but by the time, and if you allow it, even after cooking it, if it's not real properly cooked to be soft, leave it to get cold. How many of us have experienced that? You don't cook here in this period. Even sweet potato that we have now, drop it at least in a good area. It might just start sprouting if it's a cold place. So these are examples of underground stems that have dead vegetable. Another one is phototropic movements of plants. We came across that under which topic in your SS2? Irritability. Phototropic movement of plant shoots. Phototropic movement of plant shoots. This is a situation where the shoot of plant moves in response to light. The shoots of plants moves in response to light, which is needed for the manufacturing of its food. Another one is carnivorous plants. Carnivorous plants. Give me an example of a carnivorous plant. Sundew, okay? Another example. Venus flytrap. Another example. Pitcher's plant. Another example. Mistletoe. Another example. Bladderwort. Another example. Dodo plants. So the insect trapping movement of the leaves of Venus flytrap is a behavioral adaptation. I repeat myself. I said the insect trapping movement of the leaves of Venus flytrap is a behavioral adaptation for obtaining food for that plant. I think I tried to explain. We have come across this period. Was it not in this class? That said that the Venus, these carnivorous plants, not that they don't photosynthesize, they do. They photosynthesize, but they have beautiful flowers. And you know that the flowers, the petals produce nectar that attract the insects that feeds on those fluids. So the beauty of the flowers are well spread, well scented, with a sweet nectar. So when this insect goes in to suck the nectar, their body slips inside, and once that is done, the flower plant squeeze like this, and once they squeeze, You know, when you're squeezing something, if I have a wet cloth and I am squeezing it, what happens? The water comes out, isn't it? And that will make it easy for it to dry. So they will squeeze the insects, and once that is done, they will drain the nutrients, more especially the minerals, nitrogenous minerals that will help the plant. And once that is done, that they know they have, it will just spread like this, and the empty insects, like a shaft, will drop off. And once it falls down, I know what will happen. The microorganisms will eat on it and turn it inside the soil. It will still act as manure. Is that clear? That's the way they obtain their food. So that is that about behavioral adaptation in plants. For gregarious behavior in animals. Gregarious. How many of us have come across these words? Gregarious behavior in animals. How many of us have come across this word? Gregarious. Pronounce it. You know, some of you, like I said, biology, you pronounce as you can spell. And once that word is needed, the spellings must be correct for you to score. Now, when we talk about gregarious behavior, this is where you have some of the animal species that tend to move and live together in a group. They protect themselves, do everything together. In short, they are found living in colonies. Do you understand what I mean by colony? Huh? Give me an example of a tribe in Nigeria that live in colony. There's a tribe in this country that they live in colony. Huh? It's Igbos. They live in colony. All the Okonkwas of 3 generations might decide to live in this Ijaba, the whole of Ijaba, until the whole land is occupied. About 3 or 4 different generations in the same place. And that is their roots. They will keep building their houses, they will leave a land. The only thing that the female will not get inheritance there until the father might go and build or buy somewhere. So we'll say, okay, write down gregarious behavior in animals. When animals of some species, give me an example of animals that have a gregarious attitude in terms of behavior. Zebra, okay? Termites, elephants, the baboons, wolves. Bee, somebody has mentioned bee. Termites. Bats. Wasps. These are other insects, we still get to that. So have those animals that they move and live together. They move in group. They move in group. We said when animals of some species move together in a group, they are said to be gregarious. They are said to be gregarious. They are said to be gregarious. Gregarious animals show some certain kinds of cooperative behavior which give them survival advantage. Have you ever seen all these cat families? If you're watching Niger World, like the lion, cheetahs, Niger World, where you have the groups of lions, the tigers, the cheetahs, moving to attack these animals when they are coming in group like that. You have seen it, that the lions move in their midst to attack them. It's not too common though. I know that the elephants, I've even seen one that the zebra kicked, another one joined kicked. Until you usually use, what's the name of this animal that have horn, that have one horn, then they have the sister's horn. There is one that I was watching, the lion came, as it's coming, it was even that horn that he used, and throw it up like this. And the others were watching to know what will happen. So if one was the other, moving in group like this help them to survive the advantage of fighting their prey when they come. But if it's just only one, that one is standard food. So we said it gives them a better advantage. So such gregariousness, yes, may lead to social organization. Such gregariousness may lead to social organization among these animals, and it helps to provide protection to members of the group. I said such gregariousness also may lead to provide protection to members of the group. Examples of organism, we have mentioned some of them. One is elephants. Example is elephant. We have gazelles. We have zebra. We have what else? Wolves. We have the hyenas. Okay. As an example, there are so many of them. Other ones among insects, we have termites. Among insects, that we call them social insects. We have termites. We have ants. Ants. Example of those ants. Soldier ants now. Yes. And these smaller ants. That's ants. We have bees. We have the wasps and so on. Wasps. W-A-S-P-B. So these are examples of those. So let's look at other behavioral actions apart from the gregarious one. We'll call them communication among animals. Animals that tend to communicate or give signals to the members of their group so as to avoid or to pretend or to be at alert to prevent the attack of the predators. Is that clear? So we have communication among animals. That's the side one. Communications. Write it down. Communication among animals. This can be defined as the act of transmitting. This can be defined as the act of transmitting information from one individual to another. This can be defined as the act, ACT, of transmitting information from one individual to another. From one individual to another. So we have communication by sound and contact notes. Others to show the normal protective action. Normal protective action of behavior. To show normal protective action or behavior of the group when there is danger. When there is danger. Have you ever come across, you know, most of these ants, they are blind. They are blind. Now when you see them, especially inside the house, when they come in contact with food, it might be only one that started though. And it will come in contact where there is, maybe there is sugar, or maybe there is gari. I'm using the small ants now. By the time you know it, only that one you saw. You see another one coming behind it. By the time you see the other one coming, you see another one. By the time you say Jack Robinson, maybe you didn't kill it or do anything. There are already many. They were just moving, following one, like that, and turn. And by the time you realize this thing, and you touch one, that one will stop, they'll start moving. By the time you say Jack Robinson, they'll find another way, and they start moving. And it would have been one that started, there is danger in front. And once that one turns, either left or right, or movement, others will follow. Are you getting what I'm saying? There are some organisms, it is sound that we'll just mention. This one we said it could be a touch. Okay, we just started with time, in times of danger. What of in times of hunger? That's another point, in times of hunger. For example, for reproduction. When it is time for reproduction, those ones who have come across the one we discussed behavioral, reproductive behavior. The male cock, the male frog, what does he do? He croak to tell the female, this is where I am. And once the female start hearing that croaking noise, it start moving towards that side. And most time it might be along slow running waters. Am I communicating? It's out here. Give me an example. We have mother hen. Mother hen that continues to quack or make noise so as to inform the chicken there is danger. I know, oh God is wonderful. When this mother hen begins to quack, wherever you see those chickens, they know the sound and they start looking for their mother hen. And once they go there, they'll run inside. I don't know how many of you have seen that. They'll run inside and that one will just incubate them, cover them, and still be looking as the kite is moving around that side, just to protect them from danger. But the major thing, the information, is that quack noise that the chicken recognize and start looking for the mother hen and run under the mother hen for protection. Is that clear? Communication by sense of smell. Some animals are able to communicate among themselves by sense of smell. Some animals are able to communicate among themselves by sense of smell. Typical example is an antelope. Antelope, they rub a gland of their head on the back of tree. They'll rub, there's a gland on the head of the antelope. They'll just, you know, when you see tree like this, they'll rub on it. You and I might not perceive it. Are you getting what I'm saying? But other antelopes will perceive it. So they rub it there on it on a twig of a plant. So the secretion of the gland have a smell which warn other antelopes. There is an occupant there. So when you perceive it, or when the other antelope perceive it, they will know there is an occupant. That is the sign of territoriality. There's somebody occupying that territory. So all other male antelopes, please stay away. They want other female. But if you want to stay, you know what goes. That's the survival of the fittest. And that will bring about fights. When they fight, and anyone that defeats among the two that is struggling for that territory, even if it is the one that have already rubbed the gland on the back of a tree, or the twig back of a tree, to leave. And while the other one that defeated stays. And when they stay, they only allow the female and the children to come inside. That's a communication by smell. Is that clear? Communication by touch. The example is the ant. Another one is communication by dance. Dance. Communication by dance. This one is common among worker bees. When they come in contact or see food somewhere, they'll come back to the colony and make their dance wheel. That is, we call it wangling dance. And they understand it. So other workers and the other bees in the colony notice that they move. More especially when they dictate where there is food. Communication by dance. You said this is common among worker bees. Worker bees. Have you written it? Which is called tail wangling dance, to show its members the direction of food, to show its members the direction of tail wangling dance. To show its members the direction of food source. At times you might see only one bee flying in a particular area, and you will do like this. See, we go back to where, in that colony where the others are. The worker bees are the ones that go for food and come to feed. We will talk about that the next topic we're entering. Under still this communication, social insects. So they'll come and tell others where they, with their dance, which is the tail waggling dance, the noise, and others, once they see it, they knew the next thing they follow to meet and get food from there. That part of behavioral adaptation shows, we talked about gregarious animals or gregarious organisms, those ones that live in group, they live in colony, they do all things, they have a cooperative behavior amongst them in their colony. So this we have mentioned a little bit about animals. We have what we call social animals. That's the next one, social animals. They are also gregarious animals. Social animals. Social animals are animals that live in group. Social animals are animals that live in group, of which we are involved. Hope you know. We human beings. We are also social animals because we live in group. These include mammals. Mammals like apes. We have apes, we have elephants, human beings, etc. We have mentioned them earlier on when we started talking about the gregarious animals. I said social animals are animals that live in groups. Example are mammals, mammals like elephants, human beings, apes, the monkeys, the bamboos. There are many, but that's at least examples. And among insects, social animals, among insects we have ants. Ants, bees, termites, wasps, at least for now. These ones are for you. So most of these organisms live in colonies. So let's start with social insects. Social insects. Pay attention because in terms of these social insects, I have asked a lot of questions, both in theory, in practical, and objective. Both in theory, practical, and objective. Objective test of practicals too. Questions have come there. Social insects. That's a side topic. They live in a highly organized, social insects live in a highly organized societies or colony. Highly organized societies or colony. I've been writing colony, I hope you know the spelling. I've been saying colonies, colonies. Stroke colony in which each member serves the whole group. Serve, S-E-R-V-E-S, serve. Each member has something he's doing in the colony, in which each member serves in the colony. A lot of you offering economics, you've come across the word division of labor, isn't it? Yes. All right. So they have division of labor. Therefore, each individual have a special task. T-A-S-K. Each individual have a special task. Characteristics or features of social insects. Characteristics or features of social insects. Characteristics. They live together in colonies. They live together in colonies. Hope I'm not too fast. In colonies too, they show or display division of labor. They show or display division of labor. 3, members communicate with one another within the colonies. Members communicate with one another within the colonies. And number next, they show distinct castes. They show distinct castes. So we have mentioned examples of these social insects, but out of all of them, we have to take 2. At least for this your level, and this is where they ask questions a lot in terms of practical and theory and objective. So let's start with termites. All notes close. Yes?
They communicate with one another.
They communicate with one another. Thank you. Taiwo, give me one character. Did they display division of labor? Okay. My loving girl. I forgot to come back.
They have different tasks.
They have different tasks. It remains one that we have not mentioned. Yes, yes. They live together in group. Thank you. So let's look at termites. 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 I saw, is that, when you were speaking, this is not that. Now I'm very tall. Termites are come. This is what you want to do. 2 names. Does it mean that the other one that is not flying, all of them are categorized as Okay, let's start with termites. Termites are found in all tropical countries. Termites are found in all tropical countries worldwide. They live in nests, underground tunnels. They live in nests, underground tunnels, which may be dead wood, above the ground in molds. And above the ground in molds called Termitaria in plural, Termitarium in singular. Mold called Termitaria. Termitaria in plural, Termitarium in singular. I repeat myself. Tunnels, which may be dead wood and above the ground in molds. And this mold is called Termitarium in plural, Termitarium in singular. They feed on cellulose. They feed on cellulose. And they feed on cellulose and also damage wooden household materials. They feed on cellulose and so damage wooden household materials and plants. These chambers under the soil, under the ground, is called antehills. They have a chamber and it's under the ground, and that is called antehills. Some of you must have seen these antehills. Some of them are so high That's what they use most of the time in building table tennis courts. Anti-hills. If you want to bring them, except at the early stage, if you see them building, you can use your leg. But if allowed to grow up to this, you need caterpillar to pull it down. Very strong and very useful. There are saprophytes. There are saprophytes. Do at the back. What are saprophytes? What are saprophytes? And then dead organic matters. It might not really be organism. It could be non-living thing like wood. I'm asking. So what sacrifice? Some sacrifice feed on bread. Example. Huh? Thank you. Bread mold. Give me another name for that bread mold. Huh? Rice opus. Give me another name for it. That these ones might know. Remember. Muko, God bless you. Dead plants and dead animals. So that chambers they found underground where they are called is also called anti-hills. Did I say something now? So let's look at the caste. We said they live in caste. Let's look at the caste of the termites. Are grouped into 3 castes. All the termites, all the various individuals in the termite colony are grouped into 3 castes. These are questions you come across by the time you treat bees and they ask you to differentiate between the bees colony and that of termites. It has also been asked in an exam. The second ones are the soldiers. And the third one are the workers. I said the first one is what? The second one? The third one? So let's look at their characteristics, starting from the productive class. They are grouped into 3 main castes, the soldiers and the workers. Under the reproductive, we have 3 main types. We have the one we call the king. We have the queen. And we have the winged reproductives. As under the reproductives, we have the king, the queen, the winged reproductive. Let's start from the king. The termite caste is 3, or the transparent consists of 3 castes. We have the reproductives, the soldiers, and the workers. Then when we come to the reproductive, we have the king, the queen, and the winged reproductive. So let's start from the king. The king is the reproductive male individual. Full stop. The king has no wing. It is smaller than the queen. The king has no wing. It is smaller than the queen. The function of the king Its main function is to mate, M-A-T-E. Its main function is to mate the queen and fertilize the egg. Now let's look at the queen termites. The queen. Please put in bracket features beside the queen. Features. The queen is the largest of the caste. The queen is the largest of the caste. The queen is the largest of the caste. It is a reproductive female individual. It is a reproductive female individual. Point number 3, it has a small head and a small thorax. It has a small head and a small thorax. Small head, small thorax. Thorax. The spelling of the board. Another point, the abdomen is large. The abdomen is large and small. Small head and the small thorax. The thorax is the neck part. The neck typically consists of 3 main parts. There is only one queen at a time in a colony. Yes, there is only one queen in a colony at a time. Its main function is to lay egg. Its main function is to lay egg. So let's look at the winged reproductives. The winged reproductives. Winged. The winged reproductives. The R-T-I-L-E. Sorry. They are fertile. Point number 2, they have wings. They have wings. Point number 3, they can reproduce. They are potential kings and queens of a new colony. They are potential queens and kings of a new colony. They are potential queen and king of a new colony. They may become the new queen or king in a new colony after a nuptial flight. Nuptial flight. Or we'll call it wedding flight. After a nuptial flight. P-T-I-A-L, flight. Or we call it wedding flight. You know, we said, assuming rain falls today, this evening, by tomorrow evening, you'll see them moving out. That's the wind termites. Around where there is light. Wedding flight is for able to let the new colony and to mate. Start the move at night. Most times they are nocturnal. And when you see them inside their tunnels, I don't know if you've seen anyone that is just trying to form. We use lead to scatter them because they are too destructive to us. But that's their economic importance. They are living their life. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So when they are moving like that, they are called nuptial flight or wedding flight. Amongst them, they have potential kings and queens. And if you are observant when you see them, you know their nutrition. People will put water to catch them and so on. But if you are around the shop, most time we see them will be clean, they will off the lights. But assuming you are where they are, we just notice 2. 2 among them will stand out and will be moving. By the time you know it, they release their wings. And that one that is following behind, 2 of them are the potential queen and king now. And most of the time is the male, it will secrete a smell. that the other one perceive and they start moving. If they see a comfortable area that they can stay and mate and start reproducing straight, they start forming a new colony there. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Please, if you have not noticed what I'm saying, we will soon enter rainy season and it will come. When you see them, don't be in a haste to off the light. Just sit calm. If you feel that can be disturbing and irritating the way they come in the house self. If there is light inside your house and there is space for them to enter, they will enter. Just for that light. I don't know the light that is attracting them to come in. So you just see one, they will naturally detach their wings and start following each other like that. So that two you see moving, the other one is coming behind, using its head with the antenna to touch the back or the abdomen. They are the potential king and queen, moving to look for a stable place where they can stay and form a new colony. So it has started. That one will just reproduce. Mating will take place. Am I saying something now? That's what I said. They may become a queen or king in a new colony. Generally, how many cats do we have in termite group? 3. 5. It's 3. Don't go and write 5. There are 3 main group cats. That is the reproductive, the soldiers, and the workers. Then when you come to the reproductives, there are 3. The king, the queen, and the wingless. The soldiers are wingless. They don't have wings. The soldiers are wingless. They are sterile. What do you understand by sterile? They cannot reproduce. They are sterile, blind. They are sterile and blind individuals. They have big head. They have big head, bearing powerful jaws. J-A-W. Oh. You know, when you want to draw the termites, don't mind my diagram. So this is the maxilla and the mandible, very powerful one. They still have the antenna that they use in fighting and defending. They'll just use it. So these are soldiers that have strong mandibles for attacking intruders. The other one is nasuit. Nasuit. I said this, the other one is their mandibulate. Whether I pronounce it wrong, but the spelling is correct. So these are soldiers which have strong mandibles for attacking intruders. They are soldiers that have strong mandibles for attacking intruders. Then the nasuit soldiers. They use the mandibles to inject poison into any intruder. Their own is to inject poison. The mandible and the maxilla is to inject poison into their intruders. All right? What's the function of the soldier termites? Thank you. So write it. So let's look at the workers. The workers. Let's see the workers. They are wingless, they are sterile. Wingless, sterile. Blind. They are winglets, they are sterile, they are blind, and they form the majority. They form the majority of the colony. They possess well-developed mouth parts. Functions of the workers. They build and repair the termite nest. They build and repair the termite nest. Small. Okay, how many of you have seen in the house? Maybe around the, most time when they buy woods to build, they use, they spray on the woods. They spray on the woods with some chemicals to prevent those termites from eating it up. But the ones they don't, you will just see, even on the wall, sand like this, you'll be wondering where they came out from. And by the time you do like this, you will see it inside. And use something to move it. Give it 2 days. Because you don't know where they're coming from. You will see another one coming up in the same place that you swept. At times it might be on the road. It might be in the compound. You just see it. Most times we don't observe, we don't look. Especially when you have dead wood or these humic soils. And you see it there, abandoned. You use your leg. Me, I've done it several times. Because those things are wicked, but they are doing their duty. You use leg to do like this, to stop them, and they'll be running up and down. Even if it is not in the compound where I by the time you come back there tomorrow, and nothing disturbs it, they repair, in short, they build the nest and repair the destroyed ones. Did I say something now? Number 2, they gather food for members of the colony. So they are said to be the food providers. They gather food for the members of the colony. Number 3, they take care of the eggs laid by the queen. They take care of the eggs laid by the queen and put them in the chambers and look after them. They take care of the eggs laid by the queen, put them in the chambers, and take care of them. Is that not wonderful? For an insect that is blind, but they will know the egg. I've seen one, I don't know how they carry the egg. By the time you do like this, they'll just pick the eggs. And they protect the queen. Let's go. What number? Number next? Okay. They look after the names. They look after the names. Have you done metamorphosis? Yes. In school? Yes. You have not done. Complete and incomplete? Yes. They are under the topic reproductive development of new organisms. Okay? We'll have those ones that undergo 3 stages of development. Example, the lymph and the abdomen and the imago or adult. So that we call the nymph. So will you say termites under incomplete or complete? Incomplete. Look after the nymph, feed them, and also feed the queen. They look after the nymph, feed the nymphs, and feed the queen. Point number next. They cultivate fungus. Fungus. They cultivate fungus garden. That is the growth of fungus to digest the wood. To digest the wood on which it grows, the fungus, and partly digest the food. You know, fungi, they try to create a situation whereby the fungi will grow. You know, fungi will grow on them, that whitish thing, and they will gather it. They will do it in a way that fungus can grow there, and they will, that fungus, that thing that fungus created, will not act as food for them. So that is what that is talking about. The things we see, we are still talking about behavior. Let's look at behavioral adaptation of termites. The general behavioral adaptation of termites. 1, they move in group. They move in a group or cluster, which enables them to ward off their enemies. Ward off. WADR-off. OFF. Offer them protection against enemies. Offer them protection against enemies and adverse weather conditions. Offer them protection against enemies and adverse weather conditions. Point number test. The ability to feed on plants. A plant provides them wide variety of diets. The ability to feed on plants, dead wood, provides them wide variety of diets. Another point, tunneling. Tunneling. Tunneling provides aeration. AEA. ERATION. Within the antihills. Tunneling provides aeration within the antihills. Point number next, nectar or wedding flights. Nectar, NUPTIAL, nectar stroke wedding flights lead to the formation of new termitarium or new colonies. Leads to the formation of new termitarium or new colonies. Protection of many young ones ensures survival. Protection of many young ones. So let's look at economic importance. What? Protection of many young ones ensures survival. So let's look at economic importance. Economic importance of termites or destruction towards go forward. There might be pests though, there might be destroyers to other organisms. But we are not looking at those other organisms. We are looking at what benefits them or what helps them to survive. So that's what we're talking about, economic importance of those organisms. So we're looking at economic importance. And once you see questions that have to do with termites and some organisms like cockroach, bees, most insects, both in practical, in theory especially, just know that you might see the question, list the economic importance of those organisms, more especially when it comes to practical in terms of theory. We will do it here very soon. Economic importance of termites. 1, termites destroy woods and furnitures. Termites destroy woods and furnitures by feeding on them. termites destroy woods and furniture by feeding on them. So you can see now, they destroy our wood and our furniture is in the house. But what are they doing? They are feeding to sustain themselves, isn't it? Good. Number 2, they add humus. They add humus, H-U-M-U-S. They add humus to the soil by breaking down of wood. They add humus. I know humus is so important by making or helping the soil to be fertile. They add humus to the soil by breaking down of wood. Point number next. The clay obtained from anti-hill. The clay, C-L-A-Y, obtains from the anti-hills, used to build the surface of tennis courts, C-O-U-R-T-S, tennis, T-E-N-I-S. Point number next, termites loosen, L-O-O-S-E-N, termites loosen and direct the soil through the tunnels they build. And that is it about termites as social insects. And not only that, showing behavioral adaptation in their environments. Any questions so far? I believe if I ask you, answer well. AGJS, you came very late, yes?
Is it termite destroying woods?
Huh?
Is it only termite destroying woods?
It's only both furnitures. That's the major thing. That's the, if it destroys the woods, like the wheels they have in the window. What else? If they have their way inside the house and destroy that furniture, the cupboards inside the kitchen, the cupboards inside the bedroom, they are attached to the wall, isn't it? With the blocks, and they can penetrate there and get to the woods. I was thinking we'll finish it. By now we should have, we have done this, but most of you were not there online. Honeybees would have been rounding up on evolution, so I'll be able to go back to. How many of you have you done fruit in your school?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, that's beautiful. So we can do the practical as well. Have you? Honeybees. So that might release you. So we'll continue with honeybees tomorrow.